If you are no longer affected by the judgment of others and you stop judging yourself, would you make different choices? Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here's the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Possibilities Coach, Christine McIver.
Do you have the potency to make an inspired choice? Are you ready to make an inspired choice? Thank you, my friends, for joining today. Today we are talking about the pill. Not the pill as in birth control pill. We're talking about the magic pill. I am Christine McIver, your host for the next 55 minutes of this radio show, and we're going to be talking about all sorts of things. And if you've listened to my shows before, you know a lot of times my shows are tongue-in-cheek, especially the titles. But this one I'm pretty passionate about because it is something that I know I have been looking for in my life. I know that my clients are looking for it, and I think secretly most people are still looking for it. So before we get into tonight's show, I'd like to tell you a little bit about me. I am a possibilities coach, and what that means is I work with individuals both personally and professionally within their business or within their lives, looking at what's not working, what's not creating what they desire, and really stepping into something even greater with possibilities. In our lives, we are oftentimes desiring more and not knowing exactly where to go. I have been studying and working all of my life, and I always look at things from a perspective of, yeah, but what if we did this? Yeah, but have we thought about that? What if we tried that? And it's something that's been always very natural in my life. From stretching a meal to feed an extra mouth that came to the table to, hey, where else can somebody sleep? I came from a really big family and we didn't have a lot of space in our house, so you always had to get creative. So I am naturally creative at looking at possibilities. Some of the things that I love to create with are some of the programs that I've put together. So the most recent program that I put together is one called Bust Doubt Out. We oftentimes in our lives doubt that we can actually have what we desire. We have this doubt program running around having joy, having prosperity, having clients, having ease, having peace in our bodies. We doubt that we have what it takes to create the life that we desire. That was a 3-call teleseries, and it was freaking amazing. I absolutely had a ball creating it, and it's something that you can still take advantage of. And I have had people that participated in that program and that have purchased it since that are just completely blown away by what they actually are experiencing. And people are telling me, I'm listening to it again and again. Doubt, we found out, and I've posted this in social media, doubt is actually a very, very faithful partner. So if you're listening to the show in the replay, you can come over to Inspired Choices Network and you can look up. Today's date is Wednesday, October 3rd, 2018, and you can look up in the archives and you'll see the Bust Doubt Out link that you can take advantage of that class and really start to change that voice in your head where doubt has maybe been your faithful partner in life. So that's one of the things that I've created. Another thing that I am absolutely loving that followed the Bust the Doubt Out is a series called Up Your Ask. So in this reality, we are doing ask and you shall receive, but most of us are not really great at actually receiving and asking for more again and again and again. When I work with clients, they're often like, yeah, I've been asking for that. In other words, there's number one, there's doubt behind it. And then number two, there is this space of I'm only asking for a little bit. Well, what I know is that there is an unlimited amount of asking that you can be doing and receiving. Now, that's a 100-day program, Up Your Ask, and we have a workbook with it. I am live every single day for 100 days for anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes to encourage, to guide, to answer questions, and really to change what it is that you're creating with your asking in your life. So if that's something that you would like to take advantage of, is that something you'd like to learn more about, you can go to the replay of this show, or you can go to inspiredchoices.ca, which is my personal website, and you can enjoy reading all about it. And certainly feel free to send me an email, Christine at inspiredchoices.ca, and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. So that just gives you an idea of a couple of my programs. If you are at my website, you will see all the other things that I am creating. And as always, if you're just not really sure what it is, but there's something about possibly working with me that you're intrigued with, please do connect with me. You can send me an email, Christine at inspiredchoices.ca, and where I gift every single person a 30-minute introductory conversation where we can really see if there is something that we could create together, and most certainly create some more ease for you. So that's just a little bit around what I do, but I want to get into tonight's show. So yes, let's talk about the magic. Where is the magic pill? Have you ever wished that there was a magic pill to make all the insanity go away? What about the magic pill to make things appear? Better yet, where's the magic pill to make my life perfect? Now, hands up those of you who have never wished there was a magic pill. Or if you're tired of trying or sure you're getting it all wrong because all of these years you still don't have what you've been wishing, asking, or intending, tonight we're going to get some clarity and we're going to talk about possibilities and so much more. So if you have questions, if you have comments and you're listening, I'd love to have you come join us in the chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. As well, you can call in the U.S., 815-880-8255, Canada, 613-800-8736, or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. So, what does it mean that you are looking for the magic pill? Well, one of the first things that pops for me is the energy of doubt is right there, right? Amazingly, doubt is right underneath this desire to look for the magic pill. Maybe you're worn out. Maybe you're tired of what you're doing, what hasn't been working in your life, and you just kind of want to throw your hands up and go, like, is there just a magic pill I can take to make this all change? I get that. I get that we're tired. I get that, there are times in our lives when we're creating. There's times in our lives when the energy, the intensity of what's going on around us, it just becomes sometimes a little overloading. Take a break if you must, but don't give up. I'm going to read this. This is a fabulous it's a little plaque that I have. I've had it for many, many years, and it's something that has really served me. And it's called Don't Quit. And it really does marry with this magic pill idea. So it says, don't quit. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems afar. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's when things go wrong that you must not quit. Now, I don't necessarily think that you need to fight, but maybe the thing that we're fighting through is our doubt and our thought that we do not have what it takes to create the life, to create the finances, to create the relationships that we desire. Don't give up, my friends. And also, don't buy into that you need a magic pill. When you are looking at something outside of your life with an expectation that you need something outside of your life, no matter what it is for, no matter any area of your life, when you are looking outside and expecting something out there to fix you, you are giving up on you. You're actually quitting on you. You're stopping the awareness and the potency and the magic of you. Now, I'm going to give away the entire show right now. Are you ready for this? Lean in. You do have a magic pill. The magic pill is you. You're the magic. You are the ingredient. You are the pill that you require. So while you're looking outside of yourself for the answers, for the magic pill, for the switch that you can flip to make everything better, to make everything go away, you're missing you in it. I love the question in the chat room from my producer, Melita. If there is a magic pill, is it FDA approved? Well, I don't know if it's FDA approved, but some of those pills that are out there shouldn't be on the market. So I'm going to say probably FDA approved, but not effective, if that makes sense. When you and I are expecting something to quote unquote save us, we're giving up on the truth of who we be. We're giving up on the awareness that we have around anything in our lives. For many years, I was actually talking about this just a couple of nights ago. It's kind of funny to me, and I know that a number of my friends are going to laugh when they hear this, but for many years, I took training to try to learn how to be intuitive. I took training on how to figure out to listen to my guides, to listen the guide of me. And I was so frustrated. I was absolutely beyond frustrated. I watched other people do what they did to get awareness, and it just didn't click for me. And I really thought that I wasn't intuitive, that I didn't have the quote-unquote gift. Well, I'm going to burst some bubbles and tell you right now, there is no fucking gift. There is not one person out there that has a gift of intuition and you don't. That is bull. That is an absolute lie. Your capacity for awareness is available to you just as it is to any other person in body. Anyone. Every single solitary person has the capacity for intuition. Now, remember the number one thing that you do have in your life that trumps everything is choice. You have choice. So if you would like to learn more about strengthening that muscle, if you would like to learn more about how you are actually using it now and you don't even know it, that's a completely different story. But please know you are intuitive, 100%. Some people call it psychic, some people call it gut instinct, some people call it knowing. You give it whatever title you want. Every single solitary person has it, and after the break, I can give you some examples of that for sure. So we're going to dive more into this whole idea of magic pill and what we can actually be doing to change our receiving, to change our asking, and to create the magic in our lives with or without a pill. So you are listening to Christine McIver here on the Inspired Choices radio show on the Inspired Choices Network. Stay tuned, my friends. We'll be back right after this commercial break.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my friends. If you're just joining tonight, we are talking about the magic pill. Where is the magic pill? So many times we're looking outside of ourselves for an answer, for a fix, for something to just be put into our world so that our lives can get better. I know that for me, one of the things that I've said so many times until now is, could somebody just make the choice for me? Can somebody just make the choice for me so I can get it right? I'm going to give you an example of, we were talking about before the break, we're talking about you have a knowing, you have intuition, you have the capacity to create your life, and you are the magic pill. You absolutely 100% are the magic pill. And this is how I'm going to give you a small example of how you know that you are the magic pill in your life and how you have the awareness, even though you may not be aware that you have the awareness. Have you ever gone, set a date to go out with some friends, whether it's for lunch or it's dinner or to go on a cruise or some kind of activity you're going to do? And oftentimes our activities involve meals, right? Going out maybe to a restaurant. And have you ever said, has anybody ever asked you, and this is unfortunately very typical of women, where somebody says, what would you like to eat? And what is our response oftentimes? Oh, I don't care. Anything. Anything's fine. And it's like, okay, well, truly, if anything's fine, then you might end up with something you've never expected to end up with, right? Now, here's the thing. If somebody says to you, do you like, and insert any food that you've never had, do you like, let's say, Vietnamese? Okay, I've had Vietnamese food, I think, a couple of times. Before that, when somebody said, do you like Vietnamese, you know, the fact of the matter is that I had never had it before. So I said, I actually don't know. So nobody else can tell me whether I like Vietnamese food or not. Any other food you can substitute in this story, right? Nobody else can tell me. I'm the only person that knows if I like it or not. And I know that by my experience of tasting it, enjoying it, experiencing it. I'm the only one that knows whether I like it or not. Nobody else is going to be able to know if that food works for me or not. It's just me, right? That analogy is the exact same analogy for every single solitary thing in your life. If you're trying to make a decision, If you are trying to come to a space of a choice and you don't know which choice to make, first of all, you've got to know that on some level you do know, you are aware whether that's going to work for you or not. If you actually have this auto reflex of, oh my God, I don't know. How many times have you said in your life, I don't know? And you probably just said it right now. Okay. Whenever you are saying, I don't know, you are giving up your awareness. You're not actually looking at this and saying, what do I know? Here's a fabulous question you can ask yourself. If I really did know about this, what would I know? If I really did know about this, what do I know? What would I know? Now, when you ask that question, do you perceive the energy of curiosity in there? Okay? When you are willing to stay in the energy of curiosity, you start to open up to more and more of your awareness. But if you got this autoresponder of doubt, of I don't know, running the show, you're cutting off, you're closing the door to the awarenesses that are there that you've not allowed to come through yet. Okay, so Melitza says in the chat room, today I was talking with a lady who said she had totally no motivation and had no desire to even take a step to have anything greater, and at the same time didn't have the motivation to kill herself. Okay? After talking for a while, it came down to something that she felt abandoned. So I asked her, are you? I wonder how much of our not perceiving our magic has to do with us abandoning ourselves. Well, I'm going to be a cheeky bugger, Melitza, and say, what do you know about that? I get a yes. We are abandoning ourselves when we are not willing to see our capacities, when we're not willing to see our magic. You know, it's a crazy mixed up, insane, I don't even know, pattern, I guess it is, in this world where we're taught to not be arrogant. Don't be arrogant. Don't be boastful. Don't, show off and all this shit. And in that space of not being willing to be boastful, in that space of not willing to really stand up with our capacities and our brilliance, we actually cut off receiving more of it. Now, it's an old pattern, and sometimes it can be really, really strong and run very hard for us to step out of it. I'll tell you that being less confident, being insecure, being very doubtful about my capacities was a program that ran strong and loud. Strong and loud. Oh, I would say up until 5 years ago. So 50 years of my life, those programs were running really strong and loud. And it has only really been over the last couple of years in the programs that I've actually been creating and really learning about myself through those programs that I've been willing to step up and say, you know what? I'm brilliant at this. And the more that I have been doing that, not from a boastful, arrogant space, but from a space of owning what I know, from a space of knowing that I have a capacity and a contribution that I can be making in the world, I get more and more awareness because I'm willing to own my brilliance. I am willing to receive it and enjoy it. There's no pushing away. There's no refusing. So if you're really fabulous at something and somebody acknowledges you for that, do you ever go, oh, yeah, no, I'm okay. It's no big deal. Like, it's, everybody has this. And you kind of, literally what you're doing is you're yelling, no, that's not true. And the minute you're doing that, you're putting up resistance. You're resisting receiving the acknowledgement from someone else. You're resisting receiving the acknowledgement from yourself. And then you cut off receiving even more of that capacity. Darlings, you have magic You have capacities. Every single solitary being on the planet does. But if you continuously move into that that cutting off and that refusing, you cannot absolutely be the magic in your life. You've got to be willing to bust out of that old paradigm of not being boastful, not being strong in what you do. I'll tell you something, when you start to own it, when I say to people, I'm brilliant with technology, guess what? I get more capacities with it. I am brilliant with technologies, and I am a brilliant teacher of technology. I've had people, especially like I have hosts that come on and they have got great capacities in different areas, but when it comes to like the technology of actually creating a radio show, sometimes they get really overwhelmed because it's not their playground, as it were. It's been my playground for nearly 10 years. And so for me, it's quite easeful. And for me to be able to teach someone is very easeful. And before you know it, they start to get the capacity with it, and they're having ease doing the technology as well. But if I said to myself, oh, I'm not very great at that, I would hold back, and I wouldn't be able to make the contribution in my life or the contribution in their life because I'm refusing the magic that I am. Does this make sense? When you are willing to acknowledge the magic that you are, you become your own magic pill. You can reach deeply into your capacities, and you can stay strong in the knowing. If you've ever had one of those days where you've got so many different things going on and you've got telephone calls coming in and a lot of different pressure, when you own your capacities, your shoulders go back even more, and you're like, I got this. But if you are in any energy of doubt, if you are in any energy of buying the lie that you are less than, it will definitely be an overwhelming space. We naturally can be overloaded where we put too many things on our plate. But to be overwhelmed is to acknowledge that you don't have the capacity to deal with what's in front of you. And that's absolutely not true. You can be overloaded, but don't buy the lie that you're overwhelmed. Because when you take everything and you maybe step back from it and you give everything a little bit of space, you can deal with every single thing. Now, I've been doing this for a number of years, and today was one of those days. It was a busy day, and there was a lot of things coming at me simultaneously. And what I did in that moment was I just confirmed in my own mind, you got this. You've got the capacity to do all of these things. Breathe. Give it space and do one thing at a time. The old me would have went into overwhelm. I would have went into the lie that there was something in me that was lacking, that I couldn't handle everything. Okay? I hope that that's starting to land. I hope that's making sense. Melissa says about the person she was referring to, yeah, it was really something to see this when I talked to her. If we never felt abandoned, would we have the confidence and know who we be? Know the universe has our back. It's like the project, it's like we project the abandonment of others onto the universe. Exactly. Even when you can handle everything, it can be pretty magic to allow others to do it for you and receive it. Exactly. So if you're willing to be the magic, you can receive so much more magic in your life. And you know what? If you have a problem with the word magic, substitute capacity, substitute brilliance, substitute ability, whatever you want. But my friends, what if you started each day with knowing that you have got what it takes to create your life, even if you don't have all the pieces sitting right in front of you? What if you knew that you are far more competent and capable than you've ever been willing to acknowledge, and just the willingness to know it would change it? Would you be willing to step into that energy? Would you be willing to start your day with that? Because when you come out of the gate with a willingness, everything starts to lighten up. Everything starts to become more possible. All right, we're going to go for our second break of the show. When we get back, we're going to continue to dive into this conversation of where is the magic pill. Stay tuned, my friends. You're listening to Inspired Choices radio show here on the Inspired Choices Network with myself, Christine McIver. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Do you enjoy music? Is music something you enjoy rocking to in your car or in the shower? Do you happen to play an instrument? Or are you wishing you played an instrument? Have you ever noticed that music can make everything in your life better? Are you curious about how it can bring more ease, more joy, and more possibilities into your life, body, and play? On Musical Magic with Alfie Joe, she explores the magic that music truly is and can be for you as well. Come play and enjoy a whole new world of possibilities. And have a whole lot of fun while we are at it too. Listen for Musical Magic with Alfie Joe radio show every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, and 5 Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my friends. So, tonight we are talking about where is the magic pill? Well, first of all, what if there's no pill? What if there's choice? What if the real magic and the real pill is in your choice? What if you actually started to step into knowing that nothing is beyond your grasp? Nothing is beyond your capacity. Now, that's not to say that possibly you don't have all of the knowledge to create something, right? You don't have all of the knowledge in these 10 seconds to create something. What if you knew you had the capacity to receive information about perhaps someone that can assist you? What if you knew that the possibilities were available? Have you ever heard of some really amazing creations from people? Like, I just started to get an email from this site. I'm trying to see the name of it. I think it's called Fast Company. And Fast Company has, they tap into all of the amazing new creations that are happening in the world. And it fascinates me. I love reading about new creations, technologies, new ways of doing things. I just think it's absolutely amazing. And to me, that's the form of knowledge I love to have, because what that does for me is it starts to massage more magic within me, more possibilities of ideas and technology, and just the creations that are out there for sure. So if you knew that you were the magic, that you had the capacity, you would start to be in that space of curiosity. So I had a situation today with one of my clients, and when she initially asked me a question around wanting to change some of the fundamental dynamics of a system that we set up, you know, there was this very small kind of like uncomfortable feeling within me, because immediately my old program went into, no, that's not possible. Now, what you've got to know about me, I've come a long way, baby, because I used to say, no, this is the way that it is, because I have this very linear brain. And so when I set something up, you know, and this is very normal behavior with a lot of people who are very, very linear, is that when we set it up, it's kind of like, okay, that's done. I don't have to look at it again. We buy into that we had solved that problem. We had solved creating that way, and that we, that's the only way, or we don't have to go back to it, or we just want to move on. And I now know that things change. Everything changes. So when that initial feeling came up, I just went, okay, just relax, just breathe. And immediately I shifted into the energy of, okay, what else is possible? Now, when I did that, and I was ease with it, and I was space with it, and I just allowed it to kind of hang out around me and didn't give it a lot of thought, when it popped back up into my awareness, there was more space of what else was possible. So I started to get a couple of creative ideas. Connected with her actually right before my radio show. Together we came up with some additional possibilities. And now we're moving into solution. We're moving into a new space of creativity as opposed to just saying no and her choosing to conclude creating with that platform, with that program. Does that make sense? When you're willing to create and continue to change and be in the energy of possibility, you literally open your mind and your awareness to receive more. That's the magic. That is the magic pill in your life. Being in that space of creativity. There's this interesting process that I teach clients. And when I initially start to work with clients, and if you've ever worked with a coach or you've worked with a consultant or a counselor, oftentimes, people reach out to any of these professionals because they're in a negative, quote unquote, negative space, or things are not going well, or they need help. Nothing wrong with that at all. Most of us only change 80% out of pain and 20% out of pleasure. We don't, when something's pleasing, we don't want to change it. So that's fine. So when we're reaching out when something's not working, and we're willing, we're in this really dense, heavy space around what's not working, one of the things that I like to invite my clients to do is to imagine they are in a helicopter, and to get up into the helicopter and look down at themselves and the situation, and to start to articulate what they are seeing. So it's not really detaching, or it's not separating from the situation. It's not separating from yourself, but it's giving some space so that you can see it from another perspective. Okay? So when we're in that space of we're looking for someone to, make these decisions for us, or looking for, something to make our lives perfect or better, when we can actually take a step back and get a little bit of space around it, we can start to get more and more awareness. So that's the very first thing that I would invite you to do, is go up in your helicopter when something is occurring, when something's come up in your life that's less than comfortable, than less than what you desire, and be willing to really just play with, what am I noticing? What do I see I'm doing, right? So if you're someone who's been in a space of, I don't know, or I'm frustrated, or I wish somebody else would make this decision, when you're up in the helicopter, you might see, well, I'm frustrated. I don't feel like I can see myself looking around, not knowing what to do. And when you start to do that, you can start to see, okay, so what else is possible? Here's a great question. I said it at the beginning. I'm going to say it again. If I did know what to do here, what would I know? And just being in that space, can be some crazy things pop out of our mouths, but that is kind of like a treasure hunt leading you to what you really do know. So let's go back to the experience of eating food that you've never eaten before. what do I know? Well, I know that, so I was talking about Vietnamese food. Well, I know that I enjoy Chinese food. It's one of my favorite foods to eat. And I know that there are some similarities between Chinese and Vietnamese. I don't know the differences, and that's not me being unkind. It's just not cultures that I've been exposed to a great deal. So I could definitely ask one of my dear friends, Alfie Joe, if she could explain a little bit of differences to me. Or I do have some other friends that are from the Vietnamese culture that they could explain the differences to me. But when you go into that, well, I do like this, so there's a possibility, and you start to, can you feel how that starts to expand when you're willing to go, oh, okay, well, maybe, or it's possible, and you're willing to have an open mind to tasting something and being with it and learning the subtleties and the differences of the foods, you can then start to step into, oh, I didn't know I liked Vietnamese food, but I do. I do like Vietnamese food. And that's where you do know the answer. Nobody else knows the answer to whether you like this food or you don't. You're the only one. My friends, that is the exact same thing for every single solitary thing in your life. You are the only one that knows what it is that you desire and what it is that will create the life that you desire in your life. When you are willing to work with a professional, when you're willing to actually get vulnerable with what's going on in your life, and you're willing to take a deep dive, like Melissa was talking about today with one of her clients, when you're willing to do that, you are being magic. Just in that moment, your willingness to get vulnerable with your stuff is magic. And do you know why it is? Because what is magic? There's lots of definitions out there, but one of the definitions that I know in magic is the willingness to change something. That's what magic is. It's the willingness. If you are willing to be that magic in your life, do you think that possibly more magic would be created with you and everything you desire? Now, there is a difference between a desire and, oh my God, I need this to change, pathetic, helpless, hopeless, somebody please save me energy. Okay? The desire and the willingness to go, you know what? I know I'm magic. And I know that even if I can't come to this answer, I know I can find people, I can find resources that can support me to help guide me through to my knowing. The one big thing that I say to people over and over again is, my friend, there is nobody out there that knows more about you than you. Nobody. Don't allow anybody's knowing to trump your knowing about you. Don't allow anybody to trump your knowing about your business, about your relationships, about anything. Okay? I absolutely enjoy all sorts of different modalities. I love to have, actually with Melissa Jelinek, she's an amazing woman, I love to actually have conversations and readings. So we will start to look at different energies together, and with her awareness and my awareness and us asking questions, we get to more of the space of what I actually know and what will create greater in my life. When you're willing, my friends, to be vulnerable and ask questions. Maybe you do it by yourself. Maybe you do it with someone else, a professional coach. Maybe you do it with someone who does readings. Maybe you do it with, just someone who's amazing with questions. Whatever that is, you can start to step into more and more of your knowing. As I said, you are the magic pill you have been looking for, that you have been seeking. If you are finding that there's a massive amount of frustration in your life, that there is a massive amount of quote-unquote lack or less than joy in your life, in any area, you have a space of unwillingness in that area. So I'm going to say that again. If you find that there's any area in your life that you have less than joy in it, you have frustration in it, you have just locked up lack energy in it, that is the space you are unwilling to be aware of something. That's the space. And it's not a wrongness. It's not a judgment. That's an awareness because you're cutting off receiving your knowing. Okay, we are going to go for our final break of the show. And when we get back, we're going to wrap all of this up. And I would love to hear from you. I'd love to get your messages. When you guys send me messages, when you send me emails, it's fabulous. I love to hear what's going on for you and what questions you might have that where I could contribute to you. So you are listening to Inspired Choices here on the Inspired Choices Network, and when we get back, we'll wrap the show up. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The Pleasure of Business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736 or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for joining tonight. This has been a show that I've really enjoyed doing because it's time for us to step out of the lies that we are not the magic, that we are not the actual magic pill in our own lives. Are you willing to swallow your brilliance? Are you willing to swallow your capacities? Are you willing to swallow the joy that it is that you be in the world for you right here, right now? When you are willing to be in that space of your brilliance and you are willing to acknowledge all of the capacities that you be, even if you're not fully aware of them yet, you start to open up to greater. And to me, that has been one of the most amazing things in my world, is knowing that there is something inside of me that I have not yet discovered. I've yet to have discovered. There are things within me, capacities within me that are waiting to be birthed. Not babies. FYI, I'm done with babies. But there are other things within me that are willing to be birthed. You know, please remember that there are so many people that have discovered things about them much later in their lives, right? That Colonel Sanders, it was when he was retired that he created this special ingredient that's now known around the world at Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm sure it's around the world. If it's not, it should be, because it's fabulous chicken. But he actually did that after he retired, okay? There are so many people that as they've allowed themselves to move beyond the self-judgment, they've allowed themselves to move beyond other people's expectations, and they've maybe moved into a second or a third or a fourth career, that they actually step into learning more about themselves and more about their brilliance. Would you be willing to know, and I'm talking to every age out there, would you be willing to know that you've just begun? That you've just begun this journey, that there is so much more for you to learn, so much more for you to cultivate within you. You know, writing a book was something that I always wanted to do, and I bought the lie that I didn't have the capacity to write. Now, I maybe don't write the same way as everybody else, but I absolutely have the capacity. But the one thing that one of our hosts a few years ago had said was that if you have the desire to write, if there's something within you that is desiring to be written, there's somebody out there that is waiting to read it. Know that if there is a desire on your heart, if you know that there's a desire on your heart, please know you have the capacity to create it. If you have the desire to have a fabulous relationship with someone, whether it's a lover, whether it's a family member, a child, a friend, please know that if that's not here with you right now, but you have that desire, please know you have that capacity. You have that capacity. Any desire that you have the capacity to, within you, to create it, and most certainly the universe is here to bring it to you. I would love to hear from you. I would love to connect with you and see if perhaps working with me one-on-one or participating in some of the amazing programs that are coming through would be something that would be a contribution to you. Please remember, you can always email me, Christine, at inspiredchoices.ca. If you're interested in learning more about the radio and possibly bringing your voice to the world with what you know, let's have a coffee over Zoom and we'll have a conversation. We will discover what it is that is asking to come through you, and who knows? For some people, it's an immediate yes. For other people, they sit with it for a little while, and maybe a couple of months later they come back and they go, yeah, Christine, I'm ready. It's kind of been building and building. I'm now ready to put my voice out there. Know that if you have something that you're desiring to share, we have the platform that will support you, and there are people waiting to hear what you know. Most importantly, please know that within you, you have the magic to create every single solitary thing. My friend, bottom line, you don't need a pill. You just need to be willing to be with the capacity and the brilliance that you are. I adore you. I appreciate each and every one of you being here, and I can't wait to see what we can create together in the future. No matter where you are, no matter what is going on in your life, please always know that you can always make another choice. Always. There's always another choice available. Until next time, my friends, take really good care of yourself and enjoy being you.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.